first Jim's Mowing live podcast. So we're live streaming into multiple platforms here as well. And the reason why I want to do this is because we do the podcast a lot and a lot of people listen to it, but they can't ask questions in real time. So this is an opportunity for people, if they see the live stream, to jump on and ask Gavin, who's a real life franchisee, anything you like about gyms or any question at all, and we'll answer it for you. So Gavin, first off, mate, let's talk about your story a bit. So you started back in 2021. So what were you doing prior to Jim's Mowing, and then what got you interested in doing the Jim's Mowing franchise?
I did 24 years in retail. So I was in all supermarkets. I did approximately 17 years in stores with corporates and independents, and then went out on the other side of things and was a sales rep, and just got to the point where I just didn't want to be doing it anymore. I loved retail. I really, really did enjoy it. But then, you have kids and priorities change, and you need more freedom. Basically, you need more of that work-life balance that we always talk about, and that retail environment didn't allow that. So something had to do.
Yeah. So then back then, 2021, what were you then? Because people are like, oh, no, I want to do something myself, but I don't know what or how. So then, how did you come about Jim's Mowing, and what did you do in your research and all that sort of stuff?
Nothing, to be honest. I'm one of those ones that just I'm generally a very safe person. And I was on annual leave, and it was the Friday night before AFL Grand Final. Right. And I was due to go back at work on Monday, and I just did not want to go back to work. And I full on had a meltdown on the couch and said, this is rubbish. And just literally got my phone out and Googled businesses for sale in Bendigo. And this is like at 10:30 at night. A franchise in Bendigo come up. So I sent off an inquiry straight away, and instantly got an email and a text message reply. The next morning, I got a phone call from Matt Watts, the franchisor.
Yep.
And 3 days later, we'd signed on the dotted line and said, let's do it. So in terms of doing any homework or research, I did nothing, nothing at all.
They've gone into straight. And guys, if you're watching this along your page, guys, just please tune in and ask Gavin a question. So real life franchisee, you can ask him anything you like, and Gavin will answer it as well. So put it in the comments, and we'll put it on the screen for Gavin. But so 3 days, pretty much in away you go. So did you do the training at Jim's HQ, or was it online back then?
No, remotely. Yep. Which I'm really disappointed in. I was when it all came about, you're like, oh geez, I'm going to be sitting at home in front of your laptop for 5.5, 6 days. How enjoyable is this going to be? And I was amazed actually how good it was. I didn't get bored at all. My back didn't ache. I didn't have to live off 5 coffees a day or anything like that. It was really, really good. And I still have this desire to go down and do it one week when the training's going on, to do it live in person. Matt Watts always, we regularly talk about it, saying go down and everything like that. So it's one of those ones that's on the list. But whether we eventually get to it or not, we'll see.
Training components for free for any franchisee who wants to do it, especially the online ones. And we do have a few who've done the online back then, and they come and do it in person as well. And the vibe is just completely different, because you're obviously talking to other people. You have a massive advantage because you're in the business already. You know how things work. So and you get to meet Jim and other people who do the trainers.
You see all the social media stuff every 3 weeks when it's going. And we're packed into the auditorium, and you go every 3 weeks, you feel like they're saying, oh, we've got record numbers again and this and that. So you just go, wow. And then obviously plenty of people have joined since I started. We had, a bloke started a month ago, and I've been in contact with him, and he's, raves about it, how good it was. So, yeah.
And then with your business as well, first week away back on, do you remember your first week at all, and how was that?
Just chaos more than anything else. I was as much as I thought I was ready for it, I was not ready for it. And I started like first or second week of November. So you could pretty much say for mowing peak season. I bought a territory, so I bought an existing base of customers. But I also had my leads on, and it was just madness. Customers ringing, leads coming through. I didn't, at that stage, I just wanted to get into it, so I was very impatient. Which was, my own undoing, you could say. So, I just was all over the shop. I felt like the first 2 or 3 weeks I spent 90% of my time driving around doing quotes as opposed to actually doing any work, because I just didn't have full control of everything. I, didn't quite have my email set up on my phone, didn't quite have my leads set up properly how I wanted, didn't quite understand it. I was ringing Matt Watts, and he was, I'll turn your leads off for a day, then we'll turn them back on. And you just go, I've got no control of this whatsoever. As I said, I felt like there wasn't a lot of work going on. I was just cruising around doing quotes and talking a lot, but not really on the tools.
So then how did you get control of your business then? Obviously, you slowed down, stopped taking leads a bit. You started doing the quotes. How did you settle in then?
I just sort of had to just stop, simply just stop. And I said this to many people now. If I had my time again, and I say it to new people starting, don't rush to get on the tools. If you need to take a day or two once you've done your training and you're live, to sit in front of your computer for 2 days and make sure all your banking is set up. Make sure you've got control of your leads and your emails on your phone, so you understand it all as well as your laptop. So you're then good to go. Because as I said, I was ringing Matt, leads were coming through left, right, and centre. I didn't know how to tick them off on my phone. I didn't know what was going on, and it was just carnage. So I just had to stop and say, no, I need to take a breath here, and just stop. I turned off all my leads. I said, right, this day I'm not going to go out on the job. I've just got to get everything set up the way it needs to be set up.
And advice, you're obviously so keen to get going. You want to get going. So obviously take your time, get your email inbox, all that sort of set up, and before everything comes through as a rush. And guys, if you are watching online, please leave a question for Gavin. We'll answer it. We are live. This is not pre-recorded, so we are live, and we'll answer any question as well that you have about gyms mowing, whatever it is as well. So once you got your business then settled, Gavin, how did you obviously bought some existing customers? How did you go about building it? What did you learn in those early months?
I was so unsure about the quoting side of things. And the further I've gone along, the more it's become not about what your price is. It's more customers just want reliability. They just want to know that if they've got a regular gardener, they're going to turn up when they say they're going to turn up. And it's sort of got to the point now with my regular clients that their garden is almost my garden. It's Gav, you just do what you need to do to maintain the garden. We might have a regular customer that's every 3 weeks, but if we get some rain and a bit of sun and I need to go there after 2 weeks, there's no questions asked. They just go, oh, yep, beautiful. Take care of it, Gav. And then, when it quietens down, it might push back to every 4 or 5 weeks, and the same. They don't question it as such. They just go, oh, yep, if that's what needs to happen, so be it. So, it was more, around the reliability piece as opposed to your hourly rate or your job rate or however you want to quote up. And for me, quoting is still nerve-wracking, no doubt about it. That fear of rejection, I suppose, of customers saying no. But once you get past that and you lock them in, and majority of customers, like I found, when you first got your leads on, majority of leads come through and they say they just want a once-off service. And that's more just because they're probably just as nervous about having a new person in their garden as what you are going there. But they don't. They want a regular service. Once you do a couple of services there and they realise your work's good, your hourly rate or your pay rate is reasonable, they believe, it just rolls from there.
I was going to say as well, what has surprised you then about doing the business? Obviously, you went flat knacker and you got a lot of work coming through. Is there anything that's been surprising to you? You've been up for 3 or 4 years now, which is a pretty good time to sort of, you're at that point. So how's that been? Anything that surprised you?
Just in all seriousness, how much control you've got. Other than obviously having the fantastic support of gyms in the background, you can rest easy with that. But other than having the gym's trailer, it's your business. You do have genuine total control of it. You work the hours you want to work. You can do the jobs you want to do. Me personally, I reckon at absolute max 40% of my business would be actually mowing. It's everything else, all the other add-ons that keep you busy. And as I said, it's my business. I've got no one, telling me you can't be doing this, you can't be doing that. I speak to Matt, the franchisor, every couple of weeks, and we probably speak for 5 or 6 minutes. The first 30 seconds is business. How's business? Good. Got plenty of work. Yep. Beautiful. And then we start talking about Carlton and we discuss where the Blues are going to end up for the season. And then we go,
you're a Carlton man as well, right?
Yes. And we go, you beauty, happy days. And we're chat again in 2 weeks. But in saying that, if I do need something, I just ring him. And the 2-hour rule is amazing. Everyone just lives and breathes by the 2-hour rule. I ring Matt and he doesn't answer. I know, well, he's on the clock. And within 2 hours, he's got back to me, and whatever the question is, it's resolved.
Yeah, he's great. He's a great franchisor, Matt. He's franchisees love him. He's really good on support, and he's got a lot of good business experience. And he does look like a former Carlton player. I won't say who I think he looks like a former Carlton player. I don't know if you picked up on it, but that's what he reminds me of.
I was just staying out of that one.
Someone's jumped on here. So Mark's been the first
Yeah.
commenter. So thanks, Mark. They said they won't.
Yeah.
He says they won't make the 8.
Yeah, I know, Mark. Don't worry about that. Yep.
Yeah, they won't make the 8. Yeah. And leave in the chat maybe who do you think, Matt, if you do know Matt, what former Carlton player he looks like, because he reminds me of a real sharp forward back in the day for Carlton. And but it's great you got that relationship, and that's what it's about. Sure,
Yeah.
got plenty of work. What issues can I sort out? If there is issues, we'll sort it out. If not, have a chat personally about how's everything going as well. I think it's a really important thing.
Yep.
And with your meetings as well, you go to regular meetings. How do you find the other franchisee support?
We have our monthly meetings are via Zoom.
Yep.
But then we do try and catch up. I think it's once or twice a year as a collective. Yep. Matt will come up to Bendigo and we'll go have a feed, have a beer, catch up. But I think the guys in Bendigo.
Matt Shout, of course.
Oh, 100%. But yeah, there's so many of us in Bendigo that I work by myself and I enjoy that. But there's plenty that are only a phone call away. So,
and how does it go? Because a lot of people outside of gyms might ask you as well. Geez, there's a lot of gyms in Bendigo. Everyone's competing with each other. There's no work. There might be no work. But how would you sort of address that comment with someone?
Well, it depends on your business. Like I'm 3.5 years in. I was nervous when I started because I didn't quite understand how the territory worked in sort of geography. But there's just enough work. The territory, my definition of the territories is basically if you haven't got enough work, that's the only spot you can go and let a drop and hand out your business card with your mobile number on it, is because that's your area. But I've been fortunate enough to build my business. So I only had leads turned on for the first 4 months.
Really?
Yeah, and then it just snowballed from there. I think there was maybe I got to about 12 months and I was a little bit quiet and I turned my leads on for maybe a day and got 6 or 7 more customers and went, beauty, away we go. So yeah, there's just enough work around. So, out of, I don't know whether there's 17 or 18 of us in Bendigo, I'm not sure what the number is. But there might only be 3 or 4 of the franchisees that have got their leads turned on.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I never see us, I've never seen anyone fighting amongst each other for work, or you're in my zone or territory or whatever you want to call it. It's a wave, how are you, mate? And yeah, plenty of work on you, absolutely, and we keep rolling along. So awesome. Yeah.
And you said something earlier about 40% of your work only being mowing. So when you say extras, are you talking about like gutters, hedges? What do you sort of class in the extra sort of category?
The easiest way I define it is I've said to all my customers, I'm your person. So the moment something comes in your head that you need something done that is outside the 4 walls of your house, you call me first, regardless of how abstract or stupid you might think it is. I want to be your person. So it can be I transported the trampoline in the back of my trailer, 15 Ks across Bendigo a while back. A lady bought a Weber barbecue from Bunnings but didn't know how to put it together. So can you do that, Gav? Yeah, well, I can try. And we'll go from there. It can be bigger things like small landscaping projects and laying turf. What was one of the ones, a lady had a pool and she was getting the liner replaced. But it was 3 foot deep in water, and the pool people, we don't empty the pools, we need the pool empty, ready to go. So she's called me, Gav, can you take care of that? Well, yeah, I can. So I just did some homework on how to empty a pool, and away we go. So it's those little things, and as you said, the traditional gardening stuff and gutter clear outs and rubbish removals and stuff like that. And I think we're all in the same boat. It's very hard to get tradespeople at the moment, unless you know somebody, to try and get a sparky or a plumber or someone to rock up to your house is very hard work. A lady rang me and said, by chance, would you know a tiler? Because I need to tile my kitchen. And I went, well, yeah, I do. And forwarded on a number, and away we go. So I didn't get any work out of that, but I kept in the good graces with a regular customer. That's sort of how I approach that is, if I go to a job site, a regular customer, and they've had someone else do something that I could have potentially done or helped them with, because I've built a relationship with them now, I can have that banter with them and say, why didn't you call me? Why are you calling someone else? It just goes from there.
I love hearing that. And because I think, obviously far more than just mowing is people should just ask their gyms franchisee in general, because they've got a big network of people they can understand as well. But guys, if you're watching online, leave a question or comment. We'll get to them. So Mark's the one who's jumped on and said a Carlton one. But if you've got a question about gyms or anything like that, please leave it, and Gavin's going to, in a real time, give you an answer as well, because we want to do this and provide as much information as possible. Now, Gavin, a lot of misconceptions about fees. So I'm sure you get the questions about maybe some friends and go, geez, how do you feel giving Jim 40% or 50%? So how do you think the fees are fair in regards to the value you get? How do you sort of explain it to people?
I just say it's a fixed rate. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
It doesn't change. There's no, people will try and drill you even more, and then they'll want to know your hourly rate, and then they'll go, oh, how much do you earn annually? So what percentage is that? And I just say it's a fixed rate. I said, I haven't got my leads turned on, so every single month I know what's coming out. Nothing changes. I said, I don't have to provide P&L reports to head office or anything like that. They have no clue what I earn. They just get my monthly fee and away we go. And there's nothing more to it. It's exactly the same amount every single month. It doesn't change. So, yeah.
And do you think the amount is fair? Do you think the amount is
fair?
I
believe so, yeah. Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
The only I have to ask is we do a lot of social comments, and as you can imagine, we get, Jim takes 40%, 50%, all that sort of stuff. So I just want to ask straight from the source, from yourself as a franchisee. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Got a question. Yeah. Well, I've got a couple of questions flying in now, which is great. So I want to get to these questions.
Yep.
So Mark says you're doing great, Gab. So Mark, they're saying you're doing great. Good job.
He's biased, but that's all right.
Awesome. All right. And then we got Morgan here. He's got Morgan Johnson. This is a great question. How do you go during the winter when the lawns slow down?
So domestically, your regular domestic customers, they definitely slow down. So they're things like, as I said, a gutter clean or something like that. If they come to me in November and say, hey, can we get the gutters done? I'll say, yep, more than happy to help you out doing that. But right now we don't need to do it as such. It's not a priority. If you're happy to wait till March or April or whatever, or we might say, depending on the area, you've got a heap of trees around, we might say, well, let's put you on a 6-monthly cycle and we'll do them every 6 months or every 4 months, depending on what's around. A good one to get around is if you can get in with some real estate agents, so get some commercial work, because there's a lot of work with them in terms of whether it's a rental and a tenant's moved out and left the yard like a dog's breakfast. So you've got to go in there and you might spend 6 hours cleaning up the place and it's only 1 hour of mowing. So just general yard cleanups and weeding and stuff like that. And the same with the real estates when they want to sell a place. They'll say, hey, we're getting photos next week of this place. Go in and make it look pretty. And I'm fortunate I've got I'm in with a couple of real estates now that they don't require quotes or anything like that. They just trust the work. So I can go in, and if I feel I need to remulch some garden beds as well as some pruning and mowing or whatever it is, we just do it that way. It's I think the commercial stuff really helps you get through winter when the mowing does die down. Absolutely. But it's just, all those other add-ons. If you can, as I said about the gutters, if you can potentially postpone some of that work that doesn't have to be done in summer, because we know from, September through to probably the end of January is you are flat out mowing, no doubt about it. Bendigo, we're pretty dry at the moment, so the mowing's dried up. But if you can postpone some of that stuff that doesn't need to be done right there and then to when you do quieten down a little bit, absolutely. And depends on how hard you want to work. Winter, daylight, the daylight hours are a lot shorter anyway. I know myself personally, I'm involved with kids' junior sport, so it sort of works in my favour anyway that I'm finishing a bit earlier on, winter nights anyway, because kids' junior footy training or whatever it is.
No, it's really good advice. I haven't heard actually anyone say that to me before. But so you're already planting the seed. October, November. You're sort of already predicting. Trying to, as you said, forward plan. 6 months out to when you might need that extra work and with the customers. And is it like something where most customers are okay with that? They understand it, or
Oh, generally, your regulars couldn't care less. As I said earlier, they kind of go, oh, it's your garden anyway, Gav, you manage it how you see fit. The gutted one for me would probably be just, as I said, how much trees are around, so is it potentially a fire danger if I don't do the gutters now, and you just find time to get it done. But they're the ones then you go, well, all right, that needs to be a regular cycle. I have a customer at the moment, every 4 months I clear their gutters out just because they are surrounded by trees. And it needs to be done every 4 months, or else, they are really putting themselves at risk.
Thanks for that, Morgan. Great question, Morgan. As you can see, Gavin will answer them in real time. So we'll go to the next one, which is sort of similar, but I guess it depends on where you live in Australia. But Junior's gone here. Is mowing seasonally or all year round? So obviously it's seasonally where you are in Bendigo, but I presume in other states around Australia, it could be different with the climate. So, yeah, seasonally, obviously, when you are, but depends on where you are in Australia.
Yeah, and depends how much people look after their lawn as well. If people are really passionate about their lawn, there's definitely a lot of mowing to be done for probably 9 months of the year at those places. Definitely, it'll go dormant for probably 2 to 4 months. Even the good stuff does. But it's as I said, we just find other things to do, or we just take a day off, and it's nice, and we don't have to get anyone to sign a leave request form or anything like that. We just do it.
Absolutely. No online system doing that. Leave request. But I was going to say, juniors, well, it depends where you live in Australia. Check in with the franchisor where you live in Australia. Obviously, Queensland, Northern Territory, completely different where you are. But as you can see, guys, Gavin's answering questions in real time, so please leave them here as well. I was going to say then as well, the physical side of the business, Gavin. You went from working retail to doing this, and it can be, from what I know from interviewing franchisees, it can be a bit of a shock. So how long did it take you to get adjusted, and how did you find that physical aspect of it?
Prior to doing this, I was a sales rep, so I was sitting in a car. I was doing probably 1,500 Ks a week. So the back didn't like it, but I used to go to a gym, so I tried to maintain some level of fitness. So I thought I was ready to go when I started the gym's mowing. And it's completely different than being gymnasium fit, so to speak. The first probably 3 months, everything aches every night. You have no issue sleeping because you just take Panadol and you've never slept good in your life because you're exhausted. But your body then eventually adjusts. And same again, like I've said many times, you've got the control over it. So, and now I don't book to do 2 massive hedges in the same day because your shoulders just won't allow it. So you can just be smart about you manage the workload. When we're flat out mowing, as I said, sort of from September to Christmas, your legs definitely know about it. And then you just do other things to break it up. But it took a little bit to adjust for sure. And no matter how fit I thought I was, it's a different fit, well and truly.
And what's the average Ks do you reckon you walk a day? Because I've heard some figures from some people, 18 Ks, 20 Ks. So what do you reckon you get through?
I just have my iPhone in my pocket, and it automatically tracks whatever app's loaded into your iPhone. It tracks your steps. And a small day is probably 18,000, 20,000 steps. So that would be kind of an average day as such. And again, that's if my phone's in my pocket. If my phone's in my pocket, it's tracking it. If it's not in my pocket, it's not tracking it. So I don't look at it. But there's some days I go, geez, I'm cooked today. And I'll have a look at my phone, and I think my best is about 42,000 steps in one day. But
I'm trying to think how much there would be in Ks.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. That's a simple answer.
And how do you enjoy that physical side of it? How are you enjoying the feeling coming from sitting in the car to doing this? How do you enjoy it?
I love it. Yeah, I do. Just love being outside, maintaining a level of fitness without even trying. So it's just it's good fun. I really do. The word I've got plenty of friends that are still in retail and everything like that, and they'll see me and they'll go, "Oh, do you still enjoy?" And I go, I get out of work and get out of bed and go to work every day, and I feel like it's the first day going to a new job. I really do enjoy what I do. I'm in total control. The work's fun. The variety of work is I just enjoy it.
Awesome. And I was going to say, Mark jumped on in and says, I've managed to keep my 100-kilo playing weight for 13 years. He says 20,000 steps easy average. So is Mark sounds like he's solid fella.
Yeah. He is. He's a burly bloke. I wouldn't run into Mark in a dark corner, dark alley. No way.
So guys, jump on like Mark and like Morgan. If you've got any questions or comments as well, please leave them in here. Gavin's happy to answer them as well. You get to hear it straight from a franchisee, live format too. So if you've got any questions as well, share it with friends, family, whoever it is as well. Now I was going to say then, you don't have to say exactly how much you make, but income-wise, more, about the same, happy with what you're doing. Yep.
It's fantastic. I didn't go into this as the financial side of it my number one. As I said, I was just completely sick of what I was doing and needed the change. So the driver for me was the work-life balance and having complete control. And I suppose I probably thought I had a reasonable work ethic prior. So I thought, that'll carry me through. But the financial side of it now is it's up to you. It's no issues my end. Just 2 full financial years that I completed, I went, wow, I didn't see that coming at all. I spoke earlier about quoting. Quoting still makes you nervous, but I'm almost price double as opposed to what I would the first 3 or 6 months that I was in the job. And that's not because I feel I'm ripped off or anything like that, but I know now what I'm in the beginning, I wasn't worth that. And I was well and truly underquoting myself because I was so fearful, as I said, that rejection and not getting work. That I know what I'm capable of doing, what I can knock over in a day or a week or whatever it is. So the financial side is an absolute non-issue.
Great to hear. And then the tech side, what do you use any particular type of software? Do you use it outsourced to a bookkeeper? How do you manage your the business with the invoicing, all that sort of stuff?
I just use all Jim's system, so I use Jim's Jobs for invoicing, and cool. MYOB to handle my accounting, so to speak. But I'm the most untech bloke you could ever speak to, and I'm proud of that. I don't know how to do it, and I'm willing not to learn how to do it all. So, an accountant that handles my quarters send me a bill and say, "Here, this is what it's come out." I go, "Beautiful, thanks for coming." Same, my end of year. I don't like income protection or insurance or all that sort of stuff. I've just gone to them and said, "Hey, what do I need to set up here?" In the training, they say, set up a separate business account and everything like that. Right, I'll just go and do it. Done. Keep it as simple as possible. I don't do any more than that. I don't feel every Thursday night I sit in front of my computer for 20 minutes, half an hour, and I write out in my diary all the jobs that have got to be completed next week, or jobs that were completed this week that have got to roll over as such. I'm off every day. I write a number next to them, what number of job I did this day, and then I invoice every night. So there's no fall over. So yeah, I keep it as simple and as old school as possible because I hate our technology, and maybe I'm showing my age by saying things like that. But yeah, it works for me.
No, nothing wrong with that.
Yep, absolutely.
And Mark's jumped on here and says, Mark's gone here. You get out of it what you put in 100%, which is great to hear. So good on you, Mark. And anyone who wants to leave a comment or question for Gavin, we'll hang around for a bit more. Just please chuck them in there as well. Don't miss this opportunity to ask Gavin, a live franchisee, in real time, anything you want to know about a Jim's Mowing franchise.
Absolutely.
And I was going to say, equipment, you mentioned what equipment do you set up, brands, anything you want to plug from an equipment side? What do you recommend, actually? Probably a good thing as well to sort of ask you about what do you recommend for franchisees, maybe, or new people looking at the business. Did it come through, that one about the brands? What brands do you recommend for being a franchisee in regards to the equipment? Yeah.
I grew up on a farm. Yep. Look, I'm all two-stroke stuff. I haven't gone to battery. And I grew up on a farm, but so I just went straight to Honda push mower. My uncle has still got a Husqvarna dealership, so I went straight to him and said, "Righto, what do you?" And I set up with one of everything brand new. And when I say one of everything, just snipper, blower, hedger, a combi unit, and away we go. And I thought that would be all I need. I've very quickly become addicted to Facebook Marketplace and searching around on there and seeing what I can get as backups. And it's amazing what you can get on there. So I've still got all my original stuff, the good stuff that I bought, but I'm at a point now where I've probably got 3 of everything as well. Just because if a snipper head stuff's up when I'm on a job, I can't trying to fix it right there and then. So I just put a trailer and grab another snipper out, and away we go. That's just how I look at it. I've got three push mowers that are all Honda push mowers. One really good one sort of middle of the road, and one that's, anyone that knows mowers, they'll know old HRU 194 that's probably 30 plus years old. And it starts first pull every time. And if I'm on some absolute rubbish block where I don't need to look after the chassis or the blades or anything like that, it gets lifted out of the trailer. and it just goes to town and it loves it. So I could not mistreat that thing anymore if I tried, and it's still chugging along perfectly fine. So basically, as I said, I've just got those things, but I've got backups of everything. So I'm in a position now where I don't get stuck on a job. Whereas when I first started, I thought I'd need one of everything, and away we go. And I reckon 2 weeks in, my snipper clogged up or something like that, and all hell broke loose. I didn't know what to do. I was in mass panic, and so I just went from there.
I was going to say as well, the doing the job, because you did it online. So online, you did it, and then all of a sudden you're thrown into the field. So how did you go about learning the job? Like, there's obviously different elements, like with hedging, and there's horticultural side and garden, plant identification, all these sorts of things. So how did you manage to teach yourself that, and maybe any advice for people around that?
Just get online. It's amazing how much stuff you get online, whether it's YouTube or any of those places. Absolutely. There's a lot of poor stuff out there, some good stuff as well, but it's just about experience. I would, what I would do, we call a standard mow, snip and blow, standard mow job and get out of there. What would previously take me 90 minutes, we knock over in 30 minutes now, because I'm just more efficient. Back then when it took me 9 minutes, the quality of the work was the same as what it is now, but it just took me so long because I was so pedantic, and I had a big heavy whippersnipper that I'd never used before, and I'm like, I'm going to break 5 windows while I'm here and stuff like this. Whereas things like that, I've gone and got a really lightweight whippersnipper, so I use them for my little domestic yards, so I'm not too stressed about flicking stuff up because I know it's not that powerful. But it's just about practice, learning those things. People they want advice on plants, so you can get online. There's amazing what apps you can get. I think, I don't know, it might be called Picture This or something like that, where you can literally just take a photo of the plant and it tells you what the plant is, what's the seasonal care for the plant, when you should prune it, when you should not prune it, all those sort of things. And I give that, I tell my customers that. I say, hey, because everyone's got a smartphone these days. And he put myself out of work yet by doing that. But those sort of things, just do some research. As I said, I've become addicted to Facebook Marketplace. I love shopping for mowers. Every day I'm on there looking at mowers and seeing what's around. And, I've become that typical bloke that's, you're not going to get 300 for that. No way you get 300 for that. And you go back next day and it's sold and it's gone. And you go, well, I was wrong, wasn't I? So,
the old Daryl Carrigan. The Carrigans. Yeah.
Right. It's exactly what it is. So, I just, just experience and just study it. If I don't know something, I would just jump online and just study to the end of it.
Awesome. Now, Mark's jumped in with another question. So thank you, Mark, for the questions tonight. Mark's gone here. Have you tried or have any battery-powered tools, Gavin?
No, I've got a Ryobi drill. That's about it. So, but no, I when I said earlier, my uncle's got it. He's still got that, but he's gone into all the power stuff as well. So every time I speak to him, he wants me to change over my whole setup to battery and everything, because. So they keep saying the way of the world is battery, but no, I am very, very happy with my 2-stroke stuff, and it will take a tsunami to get me to change over to battery stuff. Well and truly.
There's nothing wrong with that. We obviously do a lot of content with battery, and I do these interviews a lot, and I ask people, and some people are still the same as you. Some people are half and half. Some people are the full thing. So I think it's just the big broad gamut. But we're not like California yet, where it's all you can't have any petrol stuff or anything. So I don't think that's going to come yet.
And all my equipment now, I know how to do a basic service of. So I'm like, well, if I know how to do this and it's taken me long enough to learn, I'm not going to steer away from it. As I said, I've got 3 whip snippers. They all run the same head, so I don't have to worry about having 3 different branded heads or anything like that. So it works for me.
Now, you mentioned a couple of things as well. You mentioned reliability. So for you, why do people choose Jim's Mowing? What's the feedback from the customers? Like you mentioned just real quickly, reliability. Is there anything else about why people choose to use Jim's Mowing or like using Jim's Mowing from your perspective?
I think just trust. I've got quite a bit of commercial work, and without them saying it, I believe it's based on the fact that I am a Jim's Mowing. I'm not a independent operator, and I have nothing against independent operators. I've never worked in that industry in this field. But yeah, I just believe that because I've got that Jim's Mowing trailer, I don't think I would have got the commercial work that I've got. You know, and I get phone calls and people say, "Hey, I got given your number off so and so," and I'll go, "Yeah, well, I'm just letting you," I give them a business rundown. I say, "I'm Jim's Mowing," and they go, "Oh, I didn't know you were Jim's," and just the tone of the conversation changes. They're not as anxious, I suppose, about ringing someone new. They relax and go, "Oh, right, hey, beautiful. What can you help us with?" And from my point of view, just the support in the background, as I said with Matt, yeah, just to have that. You know, I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought, geez, I haven't had my leads turned on for 4 months. Why don't I go out independent? And my head straight away goes to, because I wouldn't have any support straight away. It's just, I would be genuinely flying solo. And as much as I don't necessarily use the Jim's brand because of, you know, not having my leads on, just knowing it's sitting there in the background, if something goes wrong, that's comfort enough for me.
It's a great comment, and it's a really honest comment, because I've done a lot of these interviews as well, and you've got guys who haven't taken a lead in 10 years. And it's this question I ask, well, why do you stay for 10 years? And they say exactly the same thing with you. It's the support and the other franchisees. But if I do need to turn the tap on, go on to Gyms Online, don't have to worry about a website or nothing, down for leads, and away we go.
Yep.
Cool. We got Matt Watts with a question. So it's great to see Matt coming on. So Matt's got a question here. Thanks, Matt. He's gone, what is the most rewarding aspect of your role?
I think just because I enjoy it. I really do enjoy getting up in the morning and going to work. The control plays a big part of it. As I said, I'm pretty involved with junior sport, both footy and basketball. And, you know, when I was sales rep for a big corporate company, the amount of hurdles I'd have to jump over to finish work at 3 o'clock on one afternoon to go and coach under nines footballs was just insane. Whereas now I go, well, I can do it. Don't have to ask anybody. Don't have to, get permission off nobody. Just the enjoyment and the control I've got with it. And, you know, things like if I am busy, I'll go do footy training for an hour with the kids, and then at 5:30 I can go back out and do 2 more jobs if need be. But I've got that flexibility. If I fall behind, I'll go out on Sunday morning and work. And as long as the customers are happy to have me there in the yard on Sunday morning, they don't care. It's just fun.
Have your kids noticed a difference in you, or your friends and family, since retail to doing this? Have they noticed a difference in your personality, maybe? Or
I'm not as cranky. I probably haven't gone. The aging process has probably slowed down. I'm generally probably more tired, just because you're physically working hard. But I almost feel like you've earned the right to be tired, as opposed to, as I said, sitting in your car driving 1,500 k's a week. You're tired because your back aches, as opposed to you sort of exhausted every night, and you go, "Oh, beautiful! I'll go to bed and I'll get a reasonable night's sleep."
I love what you said about the aging comment. I've actually met a lot of 20-year franchisees, and I couldn't believe some of their ages when they told me. So it seems to be an anti-aging drug, which you can earn good money with and give the boss a flip. So it's a good part of it. So Matt Watts has jumped on again for another great question, which is great. Thanks for that, Matt. If you want to leave a question, guys, please, we've got a bit more time. Leave it for Gavin. He will answer it. What is the most challenging aspect of your role? So what's the most challenging aspect of being a Jim's Mowing franchisee that you find?
I would say probably just that first 12 months. If I did do any research before those 3 days before signing on the dotted line, I rang a couple of people, a couple of mates, and they just said, yeah, go for it. But when you start your own business, the first 12 to 24 months are the hardest. And then they said, whether it's a Jim's Mowing or whether it's buying a servo or buying a bakery or whatever it is, the first 12 to 24 months are the hardest. They were right. The first 12 months, definitely. I felt like, as I said, I didn't get control early enough, which was my own fault because I'm impatient and I still am. But I suppose I probably, I didn't expect to buy as much equipment as I thought I would. So I'm not going to say it put a financial burden as such, but you'd go to Rob and you'd go, geez, it would have been handy if I had one of them. And I just, without a conscience, would just go and buy it. I never thought I would need a chainsaw. And I reckon 3 weeks in, I went and bought a chainsaw. Someone had some gardening and they wanted 20 shrubs planted. And I'm going, geez, it'd be handy if I had a post hole digger. So I jumped on Facebook Marketplace and looked for a post hole digger and found one. You beauty. So just, felt like it was I shouldn't say constant stream, but I just felt like there was there's a lot of money always going out. And I'm like, geez, when's this going to stop? Like, when am I going to stop spending money? And yeah, I reckon it was after about 18 months, I went, no, I'm right now. I've got everything absolutely I need. You know, I'll go buy a hammer if my hammer handle snaps and it cost me $15. That's it, as opposed to I need to go and spend another $1,000 on another mower. So yeah, I would say just that first 12 months, just really getting the business set up the way I was comfortable with. It was probably the biggest challenge.
Yeah, because you're so keen to get started. Obviously, you just want to get out in the field, and then as you said, you've got all these things like the email. You know, there's the software, and then all the other things that come with which people don't sort of take into account. Yeah, and it can, as you said, put you on a bit of a back foot. But yeah, as you caught up.
Yep.
Yeah. And we've got another one here as well. Good question, Matt. Jump a question in, guys. So Mark's gone here. Being a Carlton supporter will have you cranky. Sorry, Matt. It's better than being an Essendon supporter, Mark. I can tell you that right now. So yeah, I'd rather be a Carlton fan. But I was going to say as well then, advice for new franchisees then. So someone doing what you did, obviously you've probably alluded to it already, where maybe give yourself a bit more time to get your email set up and all that sort of stuff as well. So sort of anything else you would have done differently maybe the first 3 months?
Yeah, it's hard to tell because it depends on what time of year you start. As I said, I started November when it was all guns blazing. So I was just flat out stupid busy, but I know I'm repeating myself, it's just to any new person, that first month, just relax. I know it's difficult to adjust because you generally come from a role where you're getting a salary or a wage every week, and all of a sudden your financial situation is based on how much work you do. So you want to get out there and rip into it and tick off 8 jobs a day and all this sort of stuff. But I just can't reiterate enough. Get your back end sorted out. Get your, as I said, your gym's jobs up and running, so you know when you send an invoice it's gone through. Then you know when you receive that first payment, it's pretty exciting when you see that first invoice get paid.
Yeah.
You know, have your banking set up, have full control of your gym's jobs and your leads and gyms online and your webmail and all that sort of stuff. Have it all linked up. And as I said, if it means you've got to sit at home for a couple of days and ring the help desk because something's not right, and you sit waiting for that 2 hours for that phone call to come back and you can get it set up. Yeah, I can't reiterate that enough. Is be patient, and be patient with your trailer. I've done a trailer layout 10 times, I reckon. Just trying to figure out what's the most efficient way to do it. How can I fit 2 push mowers in the trailer where I don't have to lift one of them out? Then I got to the point where how can I fit 3 push mowers in my trailer where I don't have to lift one of them out because I want to carry my old rattler around in case I get a random job. So yeah, you're forever fiddling with your trailer to see how much equipment you can get into it, but how much equipment you can get out very quickly as well. So you're not basically unloading your trailer at every job. So yeah, be patient. Don't expect to have it all set up. And I know the training is great, but when you see someone stand up the front at training and tell you that you earn a couple $100K in the first 6 months and then you're going to grow your business to this and that, I just say to people, maybe not listen to the dollar side of it straight away. All right. If you're going out and you're quoting exorbitant amounts straight up, you may find yourself not in a spot where you want to be. Just be patient with us. You know, I listened to all that training and I went, there's no way I'm going to be earning that sort of money, or quoting the sort of dollars that they're saying you should be quoting and stuff like that. Well, 3 years down the track, I'm not far off it and I'm in a pretty good spot. But there was no way I was like that in the beginning. No way at all.
I love hearing that. That's great, honest advice as well. And, you know, everyone goes at their own pace, and that's really awesome to hear that as well. And I was going to say as well, I didn't ask you this, should ask you, how many customers do you have? Like how big's your book at the moment?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I've just sold my first split. That's great.
In the 3.5. Let's talk about that.
So in the 3.5 years, I've sold off 3 lots of customers. So I think, you know, and each time might have been, you know, Matt Watts was selling off a split. We get an email to say, hey guys, has anyone got any customers they want to add to it? And so 3 times I've added customers to it. It might be 5, 6, 7 customers.
Yep.
And I've just, which I only went through a month ago.
Yeah.
And that's business, because to me, that's it. I don't want to work with anybody. I love working by myself. For want of a better word, I worked in retail, so I got sick of people. So I really like the idea of not managing teams, not managing people, just working by myself.
Yeah.
Couldn't go, well, if I've sold off 3 lots of customers and now a split, that's 4 times that I've grown my business. That's more than full-time hours. So I then either make the decision, well, do I put someone on the books, or do I sell some customers off and I start again? And I've gone, no, I love working by myself. I'm selling customers off.
And I love hearing you say that, because obviously I love hearing you say.
I'm just, it's so I'm looking at it now going, 80, maybe 90. I don't know. I wouldn't know the last time I counted them. I couldn't tell you. I'm busy enough. It's so hot in Bendigo at the moment. Everything's as dry can be. So I'm finished work by a bus 1, 2 o'clock every single day at the moment. So yeah, I'm not doing full-time hours by any stretch of the imagination. It's fine. But as soon as this heat passes, I'll go, right, I need to probably switch back on and go flat out. And then I'll look at it then. Do I need to turn my leads on for a week and maybe put another 10 customers into the book? I don't know. But it's something I'll look at when this heat passes.
I love hearing you say it, because obviously we do a lot of content. We always promote, put on 8 staff and 10 staff. It's not for everyone. And I think that you can have a great sole trader business. Don't have to worry about the headaches of hiring people and them not rocking up and all the dramas, as you know from your previous experience as well. But you can make great money. If you can do a split every couple of years or whatever, like, it's a good cash injection in the business, and you can make your business more efficient and all that sort of stuff. Is that how you determine your splits? You just basically, is it the ones that are more out of your territory, or how do you condense your route? Is that what you use the splits for? Or
it's honestly depends how moody I am. If I've just got a customer that just really irks me the wrong way, no matter how good they pay or anything like that, it's just a personality clash. I'll go, nah, they need to go. And I mean that with all due respect. There could be some lawns that are just hard work. The job itself is just really, really hard work, and I'm working my backside off to earn that money there. And I go, no, I don't want to do that one anymore. It could simply be, I've got 4 customers that are in the complete opposite side of Bendigo to where I am. And I go, well, all right, I'll just sell those 4 off and they can go as a cluster to somebody else. And then that saves me 20 minutes travel time each way, for that time that I go.
That's a great bit of advice then as well. Like, you make the business how you want it, and that's the key to it. If you want a different type of clientele, whatever it is, there's nothing wrong with that. You can then use a split to get paid for it, plus make your business more enjoyable for you. Got another question on here from Matthew, so I'm going to put that one on the screen real quickly. So Matthew's gone here. Matthew Weber, I probably stuffed that up. Starting on a mowing business for the first time, what advice would you have given? So I think this gentleman maybe starting a mowing business for the first time. What advice would you give?
Don't go independent. Go get into gyms. That's the simple answer. And I'm not a paid advert here. I'm just a bloke in Bendigo who's just living proof. Don't go independent. Not straight up. I actually don't know, going independent, how you would build a workload. I wouldn't even know where to start personally. So that's my honest tip is to have that support in the background, as I said, to have someone basically finding customers for you while you can be out on the tools. What an advantage.
Yeah, you're right. Glad you said that. We don't pay anyone for this, and we're doing it both after 7 o'clock at night. So we're definitely not, no one's getting paid for it. So it's just great that you wanted to come on and share that as well. And that's a really good question there as well, Matthew. And because that's obviously a consideration for people. You always said all the time, we do a lot of content. Don't give your money to Jim. Chuck an ad in the Facebook group or whatever, and get all your customers that way, and you'll be happy as Larry. So yeah, I love hearing you say that from a franchisee's perspective, because sometimes people think it's really easy to do, and it's something that I don't think people realize how hard it can be. And this gentleman's gone, how do I apply for Jim's Mowing services, or how do you apply for Jim's Mowing franchise? Just go to scan the QR code, jimsmowing.com.au there, Matthew, and you can learn more as well then. But Matt, we've had you for 45 minutes. I don't want to keep you too long. You're doing this after hours, and I really do appreciate you jumping on as well. And I thanks for the questions and comments tonight, guys. This was a bit of a trial for me, just to see how it would go. So hopefully the next one we do, we can promote it a bit more and get people interested in to jump on as well. But Gavin, Matt recommended you, said you'd be great for this, and he hasn't done me wrong. You've been fantastic. You speak beautifully well, and
Thank you.
Really glad to hear how well you're doing, especially from the online training, because we tracked it from the online training, and obviously doing the training in person, those people did better than the online ones in regards to complaints and stuff. So you've got an awesome business. So it's great to hear you paid attention to the online course, because when I made the online course, that was a problem. We had some people who would just start it and walk away and stuff. So it's great to meet someone who's done the online course, who is doing really, really well as well. And I will say this again, if you are a current franchisee and want to come and do the training again at Gyms HQ, it is for free. The only thing you have to pay for is a room, I think.
I need to speak to Matt. I need to speak to Matt about that, and we'll make that happen for sure.
Yeah, come down for sure. Well, thank you very much tonight, Gavin, and for everyone who's watched as well. Appreciate your time. And
thanks for the opportunity. Gavin, appreciate it.
Awesome, mate. No worries, Gavin. All right, have a great night. See you.
Thank you.
Bye.